dreams, we all want things. But what you gon' do for it? How you gon' move for it? What you gon' be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gon' do for it? How you gon' move for it? What you gon' be?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a night filled with sound and laughter as I share the humorous tales of my life as a sound engineer. I've spent years backstage, behind the mixing console, and let me tell you, there's nothing quite like trying to make a rock band sound angelic when they're anything but. You see, I faced feedback that could shatter glass, microphones that seemed allergic to my voice, and musicians who thought sound check was a foreign word. But hey, it's all part of the gig, and I'm here to spill the beans on the highs, lows, and the occasional screeching guitar solo that pierced eardrums across the city. Now, before I dive into my stories, let me share a little secret. Why did my manager say I was the perfect sound engineer? Because with my mixing skills, I could turn any performance into a surprise concert. Let's get the show started. While working as a sound engineer, this is what my manager said about my work. Rusty, you make feedback sound like a romantic ballad. Here's a good one. My team's take on my work was, you turned our concert into an avant-garde audio experiment. Picture this. My executive's comment on my work went something like this. Even the crickets in the audience complained about your sound engineering. While working some extra hours, my team said this. Our sound system sounded better when it was unplugged. My boss's perspective on my work took an unexpected turn when he said, you're the reason our lead singer started a career in mime. I had to hold back laughter when my team commented on my work like this. You've got a talent for making drum solos sound like construction sites. I had to hold back laughter when my administrator commented like this. Our audience thought they stumbled into a heavy metal animal farm. You'll get a kick out of what my manager said. Your mixes are like a symphony of chaos. The other day, my boss had this to say about my work. I asked for balanced sound, not an orchestra of screeching violins. Picture this. My team's comment on my work went something like this. You're the reason our guitarists sound like they're underwater. So, on a Friday, my team came up with this gem about my work. Did you replace the microphone with a potato? You won't believe what my team said about my work recently. Our sound system now doubles as a haunted house sound effects generator. My employer's feedback was quite the surprise when he said, you make our bass player sound like a didgeridoo player on helium. I couldn't believe it when my executive remarked this. Even the sound check gave up on you. Guess what my manager said during our meeting? You've turned our vocal harmonies into a choir of cats in pain. Ever had your work summed up by your chief in a single sentence? Mine did. And it was, you're the reason our keyboardist is considering a career change. Just this Wednesday, my colleague said this about me. Our backup singers now sound like they're in a different galaxy. In the realm of unbelievable feedback, my administrator said this about my work. You've transformed our rock concert into a comedy show without the jokes. You won't believe the hilarious thing my manager said. I thought you were a sound engineer, not a sound destroyer. Just when I thought I'd heard it all, my manager said this about my work. Even our monitor speakers are begging for mercy. So, my team leader came up with the singer about my work. Your sound engineering turns every song into a game of guess the melody. My team's feedback on my work was quite the surprise. You're the reason our band's name should be Off-Key Chaos. It's like my superintendent woke up and decided to roast my work with this comment. Our audience thinks your mixing board is a magic 8-ball. One of my colleagues dropped this gem on Monday. You make our harmonies sound like cats in a blender. I had to hold back laughter when my administrator commented like this. Even our roadies wear earplugs when you're in charge. My team's feedback on my work was quite the surprise. You've turned our lead guitarist into a solo act because everyone else quit. In the realm of unbelievable feedback, my administrator said this about my work. Your sound engineering is the reason our drummer got into mine. Just this Wednesday, my colleagues said this about me. You're like a DJ with a vendetta against music. Just when I thought I'd heard it all, my manager said this about my work. Our soundcheck sessions with you are like a never-ending horror movie. We went for a team building and my team leader dropped this gem. I've heard better sound at a great school talent show. I couldn't believe it when my executive remarked this. You're the reason our guitarists sound like they're playing underwater. One of my colleagues dropped this gem on Monday. Did you think reverb was a type of sandwich? My boss's perspective on my work took an unexpected turn when he said, our sound system now doubles as a white noise generator. Guess what my team said about my work during one of our meetings? You've transformed our lead singer into a distant echo. So, my team leader came up with the singer about my work. You make our trumpet player sound like a kazoo virtuoso. The other day, my boss had this to say about my work. Our audience thinks we're a punk rock band, we're actually a jazz trio. Here's a good one. My head of department's take on my work was, I thought you were a sound engineer, not a sound saboteur. Another day I went to work and my manager said, even our roadie's grandma could do a better job. Here's a good one. My team's take on my work was, your mixing board has more buttons than your understanding of sound. It's like my superintendent woke up and decided to roast my work with this comment. You've managed to make every note sound like a wrong note. Ever had your work summed up by your chief in a single sentence? Mine did. And it was, your sound engineering is so bad, it makes elevator music sound exciting. So, there I was on a coffee break when one of my colleagues said to me, our music now sounds like a cat being chased by a lawnmower. Guess what my manager said during our meeting? Even our metronome has stage fright when you're around. Let me share what my director said about my work on Tuesday. You've managed to turn our backup vocals into the lead act. You won't believe the hilarious thing my manager said. Our drummer called me asking if he can bring earplugs to practice. Let me share what my team had to say about my work just yesterday. You're the reason our band meetings involve a lot of yelling. Picture this. My executive's comment on my work went something like this. Your sound engineering is like a tornado in a music store. So, my manager dropped this gem about my work recently. Our audience thought we were performing a cover of The Sound of Silence. While working some extra hours, my team said this. You make our bass player sound like a foghorn. Last week, my controller threw this curved ball. Did you confuse the volume knob with the self-destruct button? I've heard some things in my time, but what my superior said about my work was truly memorable. Even our sound engineer for the sound engineer quit. You'll get a kick out of what my manager said. You've managed to make our acoustic set sound like a metal concert. My employer's feedback was quite the surprise when he said, our lead singer now sings with a permanent frown. Picture this. My team's comment on my work went something like this. You're the reason our guitarist is considering a career as a mime. One day this is what my supervisor said about my work. Our sound check with you sounds like a test of the emergency broadcast system. Just when I thought I'd heard it all, my team said this about my work. You make our violinist sound like they're strangling a cat. I had to hold back laughter when my team commented on my work like this. Our roadies have started a support group to cope with your mixing. So, on a Friday, my team came up with this gem about my work. I thought you were a sound engineer, not a sound destroyer. You won't believe what my team said about my work recently. Even our keyboardist is using earplugs, and he's deaf. Let me share what my team had to say about my work just yesterday. Your mixing board has more mysteries than a detective novel. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed the cacophony of laughter tonight, as I shared my not-so-melodic journey as a sound engineer. Remember, in the world of audio mishaps and musical misadventures, there's always room for laughter. Before I bid you farewell, here's a little parting joke. Why did my manager say I should start a career in comedy after all those sound engineering blunders? Because with my mixing skills, I could make any audience burst into laughter. Good night, everyone. Thank you for being here and have a good day. See you on the next one.
And we all got dreams, we all want things. But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything?
Hey, I may be the worst at my job, but at least I am entertaining. Leave a comment down below and let me know what your manager is saying about your work. And if you didn't enjoy this show, well, I promise I'll try even harder to disappoint you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, stay employed and keep smiling.